Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target morning show where we invest with fighter pilot precision every day. Today, we're going to talk about the Chinese technology firms. Well, all Chinese firms, actually, but the Chinese technology names are the ones that we're most familiar with and how they're being affected by and I have to read this, the Holding Foreign Companies Accountability Act. So if you remember, flashback to December, Trump passed this into law. And it talks about you had, as a especially Chinese company, you had 3 years basically to adopt your accounting standards to that of the U.S. In order to be listed on the U.S. exchange. Currently, that's not the case. You could ask yourself, should that have always been the case? The answer is probably yes, but it's not, right? So we have these ADRs that come over. We buy them, we being the big box finance buys them, and then turn around and creates ADRs, and that way you can buy them and participate versus buying it, Alibaba directly off the Chinese exchange, which is difficult to do. There's a way to do it through Schwab. I don't know about TD Ameritrade, or you can buy them through the Hong Kong exchange, which has a lot. But again, that's a lot of pain, right? It'd be easier just to buy it right off the U.S. exchange where they are listed. So in addition to the 3 years for the accounting standards to match up to the U.S. level, you also have you have to report if there's any Chinese officials, so basically Chinese Communist Party officials on your board, you have to report that as well. So that's what the whole act is about. And the question going into the Biden administration after he was elected and took office is how will Biden handle China? And of course, we recently had the Alaska exchange, which didn't go all that well, and it kind of proved that Biden wants to be tough on China as well. So that's kind of the headlines behind all this. So what's going to happen in the Chinese names? We're going to take a look at Alibaba, JD.com, Baidu, Tencent Holdings, IQ, the Chinese Netflix, as well, of course, one of my favorites, KWeb. They're all getting hit. There's a couple that are short this morning. Baidu and Neo meet our short criteria. You see that in the chat window. So that's what we're going to talk about today. With that, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go right to the lineup card for today, 25 March. Here we go. Make sure you have your chat window and Q&A window set up, as well as the standard disclaimer applies. So financial education presentations, you must do your own due diligence before you act upon what you hear this morning, and full disclaimer information is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, mission objectives: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. The real question today is almost to protect our money is, do you stay invested in the Chinese names, either individual or in KWeb? And that's largely a personal decision. And it's largely an investment horizon decision that we're going to talk about. If you're invested for the long term, you can hold this. I think that all these names are probably going down first before they go back higher. There will be a point where the blood's in the street and there'll be a buying opportunity. You could largely say we're there right now in several of these names, but I could see if you don't believe that. You might want to wait just a little bit and be a little more cautious, if you will, realizing that if you wait for things to bounce off the bottom, you're going to miss that good 10 to 15% on the snapback, which you saw that in a year ago. As the market snaps back, it snaps back pretty quick. So if you wait for that 3-day up pattern, you are largely looking at missing out on 10, 15, 20%. So consider, what do I have? What am I doing in the book? I have Alibaba. I'm not moving off of my position. I'm not adding right now, unless you don't have any, then I would, for new clients, I might set them up with some, but if you have it, you're just holding it. There'll be a time to look at maybe plussing up later. KWeb, I am actively buying. KWeb again is all of them put together. I'm not trying to call the bottom in KWeb. It's currently at 75 right now. I think it's an attractive price. I'm loading up. If it goes down to 70, I buy more. 60 more, 50 more, 40. I'm not going to be happy at all, but I'm buying more. It's one of those things, long-term investing, you have to be able to take a punch. You can't get to the 10th round without being punched in the face several times, right? So this is one of these. It's a lot of risks, so don't take it if you don't like it. If you think the market is overvalued, don't do it. If you think inflation is the end of the world, don't do it. There's a lot of reasons not to do it. But if you do have conviction, then you can step in and I think get a good buy here on the Chinese names. So are they going to get delisted? Probably not. They have 3 years to get their accounting standards up. Obviously, they'll have to pay heavy to do that. But I think most of them will. They don't want to get delisted. For our question of the day, we will look at what does that actually mean. Remember, Luckin got delisted. How'd that work out for us? I don't know, up about 500% in my position. But I'll take delisting any day if that's the case. But even if these things do get delisted, they're going to get crushed. Well, guess what? That's called a buying opportunity. If JD, which is sitting at 79 right now, gets delisted, it's probably going into the 30s. Yep, that's when you buy some shares. But again, we're talking 3 years from now, well outside. They've got time to fix it, or the law has time to change. We shall see. Don't know. All right, our flow today: long, short, open, short, long. We'll do a market review, headline review. Those are the 6 names I already mentioned that we're going to talk about. We'll do our short-term execution. If you look in the chat, let me refresh that for folks joining in here a little bit late. Got a couple of longs, which I don't like, but they're there. In Lumentum and Darden restaurants, those are earnings and merger for, they bailed out of a merger for Lumentum. That's why it's going higher. The shorts, Nike off of earning, or Nike's got a negative headline about Asian, workers, and it's just a terrible headline. So that's selling off hard. So I think that's the number one short. Viacom got a major downgrade this morning. You heard him talking about on CNBC, tough position that they're in. Let's AMWL earnings miss, and then Baidu and Neo are a part of the Chinese sell-off, which is across the board today. All right, let's take a real quick of where we are in the big picture. Always important to keep the big picture in mind, even though yesterday went red towards the end of the day. Look at where we are. We're still in that channel. We have not fallen all that far. I saw a headline this morning said the NASDAQ hasn't been at a new high since February 12th. What do you expect? A continuous daily new high for all exchanges? I mean, so what? It's been 6 weeks since it was at a new high. So what? Obviously, the tech names have been hit harder than the SPY. But when you look at this, we had the hard sell-off pretty much yesterday. And then this morning, this was from Powell's comments that anything he says that acts like an adult makes the market sell off. So he said, we may have to reduce some of the bond buying and mortgage buying that they've been doing. It's a very slight tightening of policy. And look what it did to the market. So, all right, down we go. Where all the futures are in the red. You'll see that here in a second. All right, let's take a look at those headlines and those futures. So here they are popping up right now. It's funny because it said the headline here, Dow jumps 200 points as energy stocks rebound. Yeah, that's kind of funny because then Powell talked and then they fall, right? So here's where we are now. We're in the red across the board, about 0.5%. Europe in the red across the board. That's COVID related, as you saw there, if you caught that. Pretty much Asia's in the green or slightly in the red. Not too worried about that. There's our numbers from yesterday. So dove in, 2% down day in the NASDAQ. I know you're not liking that. Apple, taking, the whole market down, if you will, when Apple starts going down. VIX increased, but the VXX did not jump much. So again, that trade has not paid off yet. We shall see. Bonds, look at that. Let's freak out and spook the markets because we have inflation, because we raged from 1.6 to 1.74, I think is the highest I remember. Guess what? We're down below where we were months ago. Inflation's over. Goodness, that was fun. Do not get caught up in headlines because it was bogus. It was so temporary. Oil, again, there's a Suez Canal thing. There's a satellite shot out there. If you haven't seen it, take a look at that satellite shot. Gives you an idea how big this boat is in relation to the Suez Canal. It's pretty impressive to see. But oil back down to that 40 to 60 range. Gold and silver selling off. Not really attractive yet in silver, but I do like that gold price. Bitcoin selling off 7%, still above 50,000. I don't care. All right. And you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin now. We missed yesterday because I had to run Predator to the airport. But yeah, you can buy, and he says he will keep it in Bitcoin. So, when you hear the NFL's playing, one player demanded to get paid in Bitcoin. Well, no, he didn't get paid in Bitcoin. He got paid in cash with a Bitcoin equivalent, if you will. But it was converted to cash for him to be able to get paid. They're actually in Tesla. He's actually keeping the Bitcoin. So transacting in actual Bitcoin, which is a little bit different than we've seen before. All right, SPAC IPOs, are they over? Probably. I think those have been played out. A lot of negativity now. I don't have any current SPACs remaining in the. Actually, I do. So I need to correct that. I was going to sell out of them the other day, and I did not. So I'm going to move both of them today. SPNB and PSTH. I'm almost flat in those, but I need to get rid of the rest of them. So when you think IPOs, where's Roblox? Right, Roblox. Right, it's down from where it opened. It dipped down below 64.50 yesterday. I think it popped back up now. Buying opportunity, I don't know. Just wait for right now on Roblox, if you will. But the whole IPO, SPACs, direct listing stuff, printing money. We have Coinbase coming up, which I'm not excited about because I think they're going to price it too high. I am excited about it, but I think they'll misprice it and screw it up. Anyway, here's what you don't want to hear: Super Bowl of tax reform. What kind of idiots putting that out? That should scare the market enough right there. So we shall see what comes out in tax reform. All right. Don't see anything we need to talk about here. Excuse me. All right, let's pull up Alibaba and look at some of these names. So here's your Alibaba down here at 230, if you will. If you wrap back to last year, that's last summer's price. It also revisited right after the election. So here's where that regulation Trump passed late December. And then boom, it sells off down into the 220s. I remember saying 220 was kind of a magic number. I think I picked some up here, which looked really smart for a while. Now it doesn't look as smart, right? So it started to recover, and then it was after the inauguration, it's the how's Biden going to be on China. And so I think a lot of people were surprised that he's taking a tougher stance on China. Does that last? I would say no. To be honest, that's a personal opinion. I think it's easier to, the substitute teacher can look like, a jerk for the first few minutes, at least to get everybody corralled, right? And then they can loosen up. But I think that's a case where I think Biden the administration wants to look tough on China when they may find that that's not a battle that they particularly want to fight and put resources towards over the long term. That's an opinion. I don't know. But that's how I see it playing out. So I'm not as worried as I would be if this was Trump, second term. Like, yeah, China, he's going to crush them, or make them play fair is what he's really doing. I say crush them. It's like, no, you're going to bring them up to like U.S. standards in accounting. So that's probably the right thing to do. But we shall see. It's certainly going to hit the name. So that's where Baba's at. I wouldn't buy more here unless you don't have any. Then you can buy some. But I'm not backing up the truck for sure. Kathy Wood came out and said she's buying a bunch of Baidu, 1.2 million shares, something like that, after this big drop yesterday, down to 240. When you look at the numbers, yeah, it is actually attractive from a valuation standpoint. It has run up big. Generally, charts like this have further to fall. So she might prop it up just because the fact she's buying it might lead others, but I would stay clear of it right now. All right, JD. Probably what I think is the most attractive of the space down here at 80. It was up at 105 plus, just at 80. If you're going to hop in and buy one here, which again I'm not hopping in yet. JD I think is again the most attractive single stock. It's not as good a company as Alibaba, and it's not nearly as big, of course, but I do like it here. Tencent Holdings I've always liked, because they have so much exposure to different things out there. I typed that in wrong, but we need to move over to the opening anyway. And I didn't talk about KWeb, but KWeb has been beat up as well. All right, let's set up for our day trading. We have about 20 seconds to the open. I'm going to put in 3 shorts here. So we're going to put in Nike, Viacom, and get the other one. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time and Target play of the day. We have 3 shorts for you this morning. We have SPY on the left, which you can see that it's been beaten up significantly. There's the opening bell. And you have 3 shorts across the board. You have Nike on a negative headline for abusive practice, labor practices in China. So that's selling off. You have Viacom, which faced a downgrade. So again, they're right in the heart of our window. Then you have AMWL, which is an earnings miss. So that's why all three of those are down. We are going short today, so we'll kind of take a look at these. And I also have a couple of Chinese names for you. We can switch to in Baidu and Neo. So that's what we're looking at today. Again, looking for that entry. All right, taking Nike short here. It's going to be $1 stop. It's tough to short Nike. Viacom's not acting right at all, so let's get rid of Viacom and put in Baidu. It's backing up. Let's look at Neo. It's backing up as well. So maybe we won't get that. All right, our number one long was light, so we'll go short over here at Nike, long, and then short over here at AMWL. Market's showing some strength. So again, keeping our eye on Nike. High of the day is 170. Call it 172.20. This would be $1 stop, so we need to get in at 162.20. So again, this would be our entry point to be able to cover that high of the day. We'd go 25 actually. So that's what we're taking a look at. If Nike falls down and hits that point, great. If it hits a new high today or hits a new high there, then you can't buy into that. Clearly, this is the short that we wanted, but was out of our range. It's just falling like a rock now. And look at all that volume. Man, pretty trade. 400,000 shares goes from like 20,000 shares to 400. That's literally somebody dumping that stock. It's a heck of a move. All right, we got a new high in Nike, so that one's off. We're not going to go into Nike short here. So it looks like none of the shorts are going to work. We are getting some love out of the market, so let's take a look at two longs. So now we are long, and short over here. So long in DRI, again, that's Darden Restaurants. They let's see, they beat earnings. They were up 5% earlier. They're kind of dropping off of that. So tough to turn around and take it long here. It's out of our window. What else do we have? We have some low volume stuff. Let's take a look at, well, Rite Aid short. We'll get rid of AMWL. That's just going to make it cry. That thing sold off so hard. Rite Aid got smacked hard, down almost 20% off of earnings. Let's see, derivative plays are Walgreens Boots Alliance down $1.80, and then CVS. Since they all do the same thing, sometimes they act the same. They are not, so not much love there. Since we're over here, let's go to Luckin Coffee. Luckin Coffee got beat up yesterday. Basically, had gone up 25% on the previous 2 days, and then it dropped like 17% yesterday. I think it bounced. Nope, down another 7%. It's caught up in this Chinese debacle as well, even though it's already been delisted, right? That's why you got the 5-letter ticker instead of the 2 letters. And that's not necessarily why it's selling off, but it's probably caught up in that. You know, it might be part of a lot of Chinese names out there. So we shall see. 127, 126. What's that about, Burner? Go ahead and explain yourself there in the chat. Let's see. What else can we flip to? Back to Neo. See how Neo's doing. Is it selling off? Not really. It bounced up pretty hard. Can't go DRI long after what, 5 minutes of straight red. Can't do that. All right, I don't see a trade in here this morning despite our best efforts. So again, the one trade that I didn't take was again that AMWL. So let's look at that just real quick though. American Well Corp off of missed earnings. Again, the money's already been made, so don't hop in here now. Yeah, that would have been 16.50 at the 20-cent stop, 16.30. Yeah, you would have had to take it right in here, which would, you know, that's not the ideal setup. The ideal setup is it backs up a little bit for some short covering, peters out at the top, and then starts its way down, and that's where you normally set it. So no trade this morning. All right, let's see what's going on in the big world. My 27 is because you were talking about Nike. Gotcha. All right, dyslexia on my part this morning. All right, let's look at what's up. NMDBF. Can't even remember what that is. I have to pull it up on another screen. NMDBF, is that Mind? Neon Mind, maybe? No symbol. All right, ticker NMDBF. To go to Yahoo. Yep, Neomind Biosciences, penny stock down big today. It's, again, unless you're super high risk, don't touch these things. And where'd it go? Oh, there it went. Okay, BNTX, only a few names in the green, so that means almost everything's going to be red today. So let's go ahead and look at the pain. All right, Bitcoin down 8%, not worried about it. Mind Medicine, Empower, there's Luckin, top of the leader loser board. Shrooms, these are all three psychedelics. You got Bitcoin and Luckin. Clickstreams beat up. Let's see, Roblox we know about 4.5, or let's pull that chart. So everybody should be in the red now. Again, 64.50, or yeah, 64.50 was the IPO price. It did not hold. So again, when you miss the IPO price, and that's where you have to say, let's wait. So now we are below the IPO price, which was right here. So we'll see. You got to keep an eye on it. May even have to wait for it to hit its first earnings before it comes back north. But I think there's a floor out here, maybe in the 50s. So I don't see it selling off forever. Just hold it if you got it, and waiting for the, it's a long-term play anyway. I wouldn't be in a rush to buy any here. Just hold off. Don't get too excited about it. All right, laser selling off. YCBD is a marijuana name. DraftKings, Trade Desk, the ARK funds have been killed. So Kathy Wood gets the hot hand, right? I read this morning her ARKK fund, which I think is her innovation fund, is down 40% since February. 40%. So I'm not too worried about being off, 5 to 8%. She's off 40%. That's wow. People are walking over that, even if they love her. It's like, really, 40% in a month and a half? Let's not do that. But again, super high risk, and she's getting into all of the crazy names like Tesla out there and making a $3,000 price point call. You'd have to think people are like, all right, she's losing her marbles and I'm out. But you never know. Okay, so a lot of names in the red, so really setting up as a big red day. Overall, the averages aren't really down that big. 0.5% is the most there on the Dow. All right, let's go ahead and, getting some love out there. Both those names are bouncing. All right, let's go back to our question of the day, which again is, what is delisting? Luckin went through this, so we've talked about this before. But it's a removal of a listed security from a stock exchange. Voluntary or involuntary bankruptcy is an issue. No longer meets the requirements, or it's going through the process of going private. All right, it means you've been removed from a stock exchange. Now, so what are the stock exchanges? The NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. Those are exchanges. When you're like, well, I can still buy Luckin. Well, if you pull up Luckin's ticker, it's going to say OTC. This might be an example right here with NMDBF. There it is, OTC. So this is an over-the-counter stock as an example. So this one is not listed on a major exchange. You have to buy it through this over-the-counter. What does that mean? Generally, when you're buying an over-the-counter stock, so when you go in and out of Luckin, you are still paying the $6.95 per trade because it is not on a major exchange. So it's not commission free like the major exchanges are. So that's why you don't see me you see me making large moves in Luckin because I just don't want to pay $7 every time I make an adjustment. Now, if you're on KWeb or BABA, you can do that. You can sell a share here, sell a share there, sell a share everywhere, or buy either one. But you don't want to do that, obviously, if you're getting a $7 hit every time you do it. So just realize that. Check your transaction log every now and then just to see if you're getting a commission, and if you are, then you have to see why. So any price below $1 for an extended period of time will generally drive a delisting, and then generally the consequences are significant. The stock will get hit significantly. So, all right, and then it goes through all of the things that might lead to that. You can see a reverse split. A lot of people think that's because they want to get the stock price to where it looks like it's not unhealthy and it looks more healthy. Well, that's financial engineering 101 if you're doing a reverse split, right? There are major problems with your company if you're doing a reverse split, right? There are major good things going on if you are doing a regular split. So consider. Don't be too excited if your stock is doing a reverse split, even though it looks prettier. So, all right, that's all I've got for you today. Sorry I didn't get you a trade. Tomorrow's Friday, so we'll see if we can get a trade out there for tomorrow. With that, I'm going to let you go, and you guys have a good one. We'll see you back in the morning. Bye.